Don't tell the big guy, but my favorite Pokemon is Pikachu. You guys have asked for this for quite a few times, and today we're finally making curry from Pokemon Sword and Shield, which is a big part of the game. You know, let me know who your favorite Pokemon is down below in the comments. I would actually very curious. For today's curry, we're making a Charizard Class Curry, which is actually really hard to do, and it involves a bunch of berries, which is not common in any kind of curry I've ever made. But one thing I think of is that eggplant is technically a berry, so we're gonna use eggplants and blackberries. Just, you know, Japanese curry have apples, why can't we put blackberries in it? Now to start off with this curry, we're going to be prepping all of our vegetables first. I'm starting with one regular eggplant, making sure that I trim the top and the bottom. Once you have that, I do like to peel my eggplant because a lot of the times the peel can be very bitter. Keep that in mind. If your eggplant is a couple of days old, just peel it and it's going to taste so much better. Now cut this thing in half and then cut it into quarters. You're going to be left with a big old chunk that looks like this. Now cut that chunk into thirds, line it up, and cut this into a total of 6 pieces. You're going to have these nice like 1 to 1.5 inch cubes worth of your eggplant. It's important to have these eggplant pieces somewhat large because when we go to cook it in the curry later, if it's too small, it'll just disintegrate and fall apart. You definitely want this texture in your curry, especially for a Japanese curry. This is what your eggplant cube should look like. Now I'm also going to be adding in 1 Chinese eggplant, which is a little smaller and has a more delicate flavor. We're going to cut the eggplant in half and then cut them into 1/2 inch thick rounds. The reason why I'm cutting them like this is I want them similar in size to the other eggplants so they cook around the same time. Now this curry is also going to get some fresh tomato. You can use whichever tomatoes you want. I'm just using some regular hothouse tomato. Make sure you remove any excess stem from your tomatoes so it doesn't end up in your curry because no one wants to chew on that. I'm going to be totally honest with you. Now cut your tomato into quarters. After you cut it into quarters, cut each of those quarters into 6 nice chunky pieces. You want to have these nice chunks of tomatoes so that way they don't disintegrate in the curry and you have these beautiful pieces in the curry later. Now I'm also adding in 1 very sad carrot. The carrot will provide some texture and sweetness, and I'm cutting them at this bias angle, but feel free to just do a nice medium dice with these, keeping them in line with the same size as the eggplant. After I cut these into these nice bias rounds, I cut these in half one more time. This will keep them in line with the same size as the eggplant, and go ahead and place these onto your, really dude? In the soy sauce? I guess you get a snack. Now place these onto your sheet tray and grab your 1/2 onion. Slice the onion into nice thick slices. Don't go too thin on these, otherwise they will get lost in the curry. So now we have all of our mise en place ready for the first part of the curry. I also have my curry powder we're gonna talk about in a second. I wanna go over all of this with you guys because this curry is going to be spicy. This curry is going to get an addition of 4 habaneros. Yes, this is going to be spicy, and you guys know I absolutely love my habanero, even if it's gonna melt my face off as Charizard. As far as the sausages go, I'm using a local black pepper sausage because I think that's totally up to you, and they really didn't specify, so I'm going with the black pepper sausage, you know? You do you. Now we're gonna talk about the curry for a second. For my curry, we're using turmeric, coriander, amateur powder, fenugreek, black pepper, cinnamon, ginger, garlic powder, nutmeg, fennel, cardamom, ground cloves, and a couple of bay leaves in there somewhere. All of this is gonna be on CHEFPK.com if you need the exact amounts. The reason why I'm not going into the curry, well, we'll talk about it in a minute. First, we're gonna make some epic hot dog water. Take your 2 pieces of sausage along with your carrots, place it into a heavy bottomed pot with 1 liter worth of water. We're going to actually use this water to not only cook up that sausage and carrots to soften them, but we're gonna use it for our roux later. And to also spice things up, we are using 4 habanero peppers. Now you can use whatever chilies you want for your curry, but I love the flavor that the habanero brings with everything else involved in this Charizard curry. After you remove all the stems and seeds from your habanero, we're going to be left with all of the flesh that we're going to actually slice very thin. The reason why I'm slicing it is because I can kind of control this a bit better later rather than any kind of small dice. Once you have everything nicely sliced, making sure you get habanero all over your fingers, place this into a small container, and we're going to dump this into our hot dog water. This is going to spice it up. Oh my God, it's gonna be spicy. Make sure your fingers are nice and clean, and those knives too, because we all know, you don't wanna go to the bathroom right now. You know, you got habaneros on your fingers. Do you know how not exciting that is? And after those habaneros have simmered for around 10 to 15 minutes in that water, we're gonna strain everything out, reserving all the vegetables along with the sausages, and reserve that habanero water to make our roux. Sausages, carrots, and habaneros are ready to go. Let's put this thing together. It shouldn't be, oh, it's so spicy in here. What have I created? Remember, we have to reserve our hot dog habanero water because we're gonna use this for the actual curry. Oh, it's so hot. Why did I not use gloves? Ow, ow, burning everywhere. Now we're gonna take our same pot that we cooked the sausage water in earlier. We're gonna crank this up just about to a medium high heat. You don't need this too hot. Now to start forming the roux, we're gonna start off with 50 grams of butter going into your pot. Once you have your butter in, immediately throw in all of your spices. We're gonna start cooking some of those spices in that butter just to get them nice and toasted. Once this starts to smell like popcorn, that's when you know it's ready to go and nice and toasted. You only need to cook this for around 60 seconds. This is what your roux should look like, a nice thick paste. Once you have that, add in 50 grams worth of flour directly to your spices and your butter, and we're gonna be making a blonde roux versus a brown roux. The reason for that is we have a bunch of color that we're gonna add into this later, so you don't really need to cook this too long. This went for about 2 minutes. Now we're going to add in half of our habanero water. This is also personal preference, but you are going to need 1 full liter of liquid. The reason why I went for half of my habanero water is because I could smell the spice penetrating my nose and destroying my insides. After adding half of your habanero water and making sure you fully whisked it together, you're going to end up with a really beautiful smooth roux. This is when I added a half a liter of regular fresh water. Bring this all together and suffer the consequences. It's gonna be so spicy. Now we're gonna season this with a heavy pinch of salt, but don't go overboard because we're also going to add 15 milliliters worth of soy sauce, 15 milliliters worth of Worcestershire, and 30 grams worth of ketchup. The ketchup is gonna add some tartness and some sweetness to it, so you can increase this amount if you want a little more of that flavor. Now start mixing this and bring this together to where it's fully incorporated and it's super smooth. Right before it starts simmering, this is when we're going to add all of our vegetables, starting with the onions, followed by all of your chopped tomatoes, then 2 cloves of garlic that you decided to break apart with your fingers like a monster, then both of your eggplants, and I'm only using half of that larger eggplant, the regular one, and then 180 grams worth of blackberry. Throw everything together and then add in all of your carrot and only half of your habanero. Again, this is totally personal preference. If you want it like ultra spicy, go for it. Add all of the habanero. Give this a good mix, and once it's fully mixed, this is what your curry will look like. I know it looks super thick right now, but those vegetables are going to leach a ton of liquid. So throw a lid on it and let it cook for about 15 minutes until the veggies are tender. Oh, baby, that smells good. And we don't need to cook this too long. We only went around 10 or 15 minutes for this because all we're looking to do is get those vegetables soft. So once they're soft and tender, this is done. We can plate up. I got some white rice. Everything is watering. Why would everything water? Don't think into that. Oh, and don't forget your sausage. It's like one of the core ingredients. I'm just actually gonna split this guy in half just to have it nice. Oh, it's gonna be so good. Woo! And normally Japanese style curry does have kind of almost equal parts rice and curry, and we're just gonna line them up side by side. You can do as much or as little rice as you want. Oh yes. Oh, we need a ladle. How are we gonna get the curry out, with our hands? I wanna show this to you guys up close because this is a beautiful curry, and I was very skeptical as to what this was going to look like. But look at this. Look at how rich that looks, because it is called the sweet and rich curry. So we're just gonna go for a big old portion right there. Some more of this veg. Hit this with our sausage right on top. Now also, traditionally, a Japanese style curry does get a little pickle, which I don't know, maybe they had it. They didn't say. There's like 8 berries in this thing, so we're gonna put some pickle on it. And that pickle comes in the form of ginger. I'm using some shredded ginger, so feel free to use really whatever pickle you want. I'm just gonna go right there on the side, make it look pretty. There it is, Kohai, my Charizard Class Curry. This thing looks and smells incredible, even with the addition of blackberry, which is, you know, can be good. I never actually thought I'd put blackberries and eggplant together in a curry, and I also never thought I would launch a Kickstarter for my new cookbooks. I'm telling you, Linus, just let me know. I'm really excited to get my copies of ADDICTING out to you guys finally in physical form. Each book contains 10 of our favorite recipes, both from Food Wars, video games, and other anime, and I can't wait to share this with you guys. Each book is fully illustrated with its own artwork for each recipe. Not only that, but these are the same exact size as your typical manga, so that way you can put this on your shelf next to everything else that you have. We're a couple of weeks into the Kickstarter, and I'm really excited to say how far along we've come, and I can't wait to have all of my Kohai's support on this. There's a bunch of rewards, you'll get them signed. I can't wait to get these out to you guys, and to support me getting these to you guys, I am giving away a copy of both versions of ADDICTING Volume 1 and 2 to anyone in the comments down below. All you have to do to win a copy of each is let me know in the comments down below who your favorite Pokemon is, and obviously mine's Link. I mean, Pikachu. Pika-Link? Pika-Link could be fun or overpowered in Smash. One subscriber who smashes that like button is going to get a copy of ADDICTING sent directly to you. Oh, and make sure you follow me on Twitter so that way I can announce who the winners are. I'd really appreciate it. It's a lot easier than YouTube. Let's eat this. I'm just gonna go straight up for the curry and the rice first, because that's really, oh, you know what? Let's get a blackberry in here too, because that's what it's all about. The blackberry and the eggplant. Look at this bite. Y'all want some? It looks deceivingly good. Cheers. A little spicy, but the burn is good. It's sweet, it's spicy, and it has a nice richness to it. A little sausage. The vegetables have some crunch. They're not overcooked. I recommend this. That's really weird to say. Just like I recommend you check out CHEFPK.com for this recipe and so many more. Check out the Kickstarter link below. My name is Chef PK. Get subscribed, and remember, keep playing with your food.